What's up, guys? So last summer, me and my family went to Europe. We started in Italy and made our way to France. In Italy, I got a couple new credits at a little theme park called Magicland. But when we were in France, we went to Parc Astérix and was by far my favorite park of the trip. Before we went, I knew of a couple rides like Osiris and Tunera to Zeus, but obviously the headline attraction, TOUTATIS, was always on my radar. Before this trip, my number one bucket list coaster was probably Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, until I found out about Parc Astérix and TOUTATIS. It was my most anticipated ride of the trip, and it definitely lived up to the hype. I'm currently still deciding if it's my number one or number two coaster. It's currently tied up with Iron Rattler. Today I'm going to talk about why TOUTATIS could possibly be my favorite coaster. But before we start, please consider liking and subscribing the video, as it would very much help my channel.
I outrank you. I can destroy you. So I suggest you fall in line, because I am still your supreme.
Man, TOUTATIS, where do I even start? I guess I'll start right here. TOUTATIS' station is amazing. It has really good theming, and the send-off sequence is also one of the best I've ever seen. The actual ride starts with a small launch that goes into a hang-time-filled zero-G stall. Then it goes into two outer banked airtime hills, which give amazing pops of ejector. This is where the main sequence of the ride begins. After passing under a bridge, you head into a straight launch section with a speed hill. After the speed hill, you go almost all the way to the top of the top hat, and then it leaves you floating for a second. The train then gets sent back down the top hat through more launch section and goes into a straight-up vertical spike. This is probably my favorite part of the ride, as it gives very good views and very good floater. Then the train passes through the rest of the launch section and finally makes it over the entire top hat. After the top hats drop, people think that this is more of a mid-ride, but I would definitely beg to differ. When you're sitting in the back row, the drop gives amazing ejector airtime. This is then followed by some quick turns up into a zero-G stall. There are some very surprising laterals going into the stall that actually made it a lot better. The stall itself gives amazing hang time. After the stall is followed by a sideways airtime hill and an enormous airtime hill that gives great negatives. This is then followed by a really weird S-turn and then a wave turn. I've never been a huge fan of wave turns, but this one made me change my mind. This is then followed by a whippy zero-G roll, a turnaround, and two bunny hills, then the brake run. I gotta give some props to whoever designed this ride. It's filled with airtime, hang time, laterals, and anything else that you could ask for in a roller coaster. But there's something else that I also want to talk about. From what I remember, the ride operations got a maximum of like 40 seconds, which is amazing. I think this time beats out most of Six Flags and Cedar Fair's parks. But especially compared to my home park, Silverwood, which gets an average of about 2 minutes, this is very, very good. I also want to give props to whoever designed the restraints on this ride, because those things are some of the most comfortable restraints that I've ever been in. Overall, I think TOUTATIS is probably the best roller coaster that I've ever ridden. I've seen reviews from people like Coaster Studios that really underplay how good this ride is. But don't be fooled, because this ride is extremely intense and one of the best experiences that I've ever had at a theme park. But what do you guys think? Have you ever been on TOUTATIS? Let me know in the comments. And feel free to go check out my free Patreon at patreon.com/lordoftherides. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it would very much help my channel out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.